to On the Air with a Book Crawl with your public host, me, Melissa Heathers, where authors rise as thought leaders and they own the mic, where the stories behind the pages are heard and the voices lead. Because for me and everybody, I hope, every story is worth savoring. So get ready, because our guest doesn't just read energy, she moves it today. And On the Air with the Book Crawl, we are happy and grateful to welcome Miss Deb Decelle. She's a psychic medium and founder of the Intuitive Entrepreneur book, as well as the executive producer of a new show coming out called The Intuitive Edge. This episode tonight, you are going to feel, I promise you. So welcome, Deb. Welcome. I am so honored to have you.
Thank you so much for having me, Melissa. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh, I'm so grateful. So my podcast is about, highlighting authors as thought leaders. And I do know that you are an author. You produced an anthology called The Intuitive Entrepreneur. Beautiful, beautiful. So for me, I would like to know, how did your journey as a psychic medium lead you into creating this anthology?
Well, I've been working professionally as a psychic medium since 2017, so we're coming up on a decade next year. And I really was just going where I was led. I was doing readings for people, and I do work with entrepreneurs and people in the business world, as well as regular people, if you will. And so I kept getting this title, the Intuitive Entrepreneur, the Intuitive Entrepreneur. And I thought it was for my clients. And then I realized when I was having a conversation with my publisher that it was actually meant for me.
Wow.
And so I was going where I was intuitively led and intuitively guided, because I wanted to really create something special with this. And I actually have 2 degrees in marketing and management. So, being an entrepreneur and being part of that vein is something that I take pride in, that I'm very proud of. And I love it because it was a way for me to really blend my muggle world, if you will, Harry Potter reference there, with my magic, with the intuitive piece of things, which is something that was so important to me when I started this project.
I love intuition, but I find sometimes as humans, we are kind of distracted or socially conditioned from our intuition. I want to know for you, how important intuition really is, because for me it's super important, and I feel it a lot. I get my downloads from my intuition, but sometimes I turn it off and I'm like, no, that's not for me. Do you have the same kind of feeling when intuition hits you?
Absolutely. And, I've learned over the years to really be able to shut it down when I need to. For instance, I don't have people stepping through the veil all the time to communicate with me mediumistically. I have the ability to really turn that on and off, and turn my intuition on and off. But intuition stays on most of the time. It's something that's really important to me. It's important with the work that I do as an intuitive medium and mentor. But also an important part of my work with publishing books and, working in media as an executive producer of my own show. My intuition takes center stage there as well, because I'm always listening to that quiet inner voice and to things that are spirit led, where I can feel guides, angels, and guardians nudging me to go in a certain direction. And that's really how I roll.
That's amazing. That's an amazing message to have as a thought leader, as a producer of an anthology, as an executive producer of a TV show. My experience as well has been to lead or take the lead from my intuition. And sometimes for me, fear kicks in and I'm like, oh no, that's a big leap of faith. But always, my intuition has always led me into the right path, or the right marketing for my business, or the right, mentorship for me, I guess.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that's most important to me as an educational medium is the educational piece of it. I spent 15 years in education, and so education is something I'm passionate about, and everyone has intuition. Everyone can connect. So I'm on a mission to educate the world to let people know that they can tap into their own intuitive abilities, and everyone has access to it.
Oh, I love that. Cause like I do like a little bit of soul alignment. Like I had to have alignment within myself first. And a part of
Mhm.
like one of my videos about soul alignment is imagine the world if our social condition structures like school brought in, okay, there's this part, and it's education, and it's the context part, and you do need this part. But there's also this part of you that is your intuition. Or if they gave students, meditation, or if they, aligned masculine energy versus feminine energy, and they incorporated that into these kind of stuck, stoic places where it's like it looks this way and it's only this way. I just think the world would be a completely different place if we started letting children keep their intuition instead of taking it. I don't know if you agree.
Absolutely. I do. And one of the worst things that you can say to a child is, oh, that's just your imagination. We need to really foster it. And we actually did use meditation in one of my classrooms when I was working in education. And it was something that the kids looked forward to. It was something that helped them to have more calm, to help them start their day in a way that was engaged, in a way that they felt whole. So I absolutely believe that, and believe that we need to bring more mindfulness into the classrooms in our world.
I love that. Maybe we will venture down that path together and keep advocating for that because it's
I
super.
love it.
I know they brought it into sports, like a lot of sports teams, like high-end sports team, they meditate and they get mindful and they get present in the moment. And if we could foster that, like you said, with children at the beginning of the class day, I just think it would be way more productive. And I think that there would be a lot of, maybe I don't want to say misdiagnosis, because ADHD and all those things, they're real 100%. But if we can at least help foster that energy a little bit into the present moment, I think that the school systems would shift. So
Absolutely. I absolutely agree.
I love it. I love it. All right, let me jump on to another question. So, as the founder and producer of your anthology, again, how did your intuition guide the voices, the other authors, and their stories?
Well, it's really interesting because when I started this, we ended up with 22 authors, myself included. And so it was an opportunity to gain 22 different perspectives of intuition in business, of really helping people move forward. And it was interesting because when it was time to recruit authors, one of my dear friends, Julie Speetjens, who's absolutely amazing, was like, why don't we go to Soul Journey Sundays and see if we have other mediums and intuitives that might be interested in writing on the project? And it just blew up from there. And
Wow.
so it was a real opportunity to bring voices in. Now, Soul Journey Sundays, if you don't know, it's a monthly event that myself and many other intuitive mediums and energy practitioners and all kinds of magical folk do once a month. And we have readers from here in the US all the way to Holland, to Turkey, in the UK. And so it's an opportunity for us to give back, for us to do readings for people at a really wonderful price, and they're guaranteed 2 15-minute readings. So Julie and I really got together about this, and she said, let's give it a shot. And when she did, like I said, it just really took off. And so it's a really wonderful and wonderfully curated collection of other authors. And that's what I love about it, because it's not just my perspective, it's the perspective of 21 other human beings. And so the other wonderful thing about it is that at the end of each chapter, there's a tool. And so you can take your tool and use it in real time. And it's something that you yourself can use in the moment. And that was one of the things that was really most important to me, was that we had tools for people to work with. And that's really the structure of my publisher and the anthology work that she's done, Brave Healer Productions. And so it really just turned out beautifully. I got my dream team for my co-authors, so it was really something special and near and dear to my heart.
Oh, I love that. I love that the voices that you brought into your book and the concept of having their voices and their perspective from intuition. In my world, that's like thought leadership at its finest. And then you elevate it and you bring in another component of intuition on your Soulful Sundays, which I just love and adore. So well done, Deb. That's
Thank
amazing.
you.
Was there a moment where you realized your mediumship wasn't a gift, but a foundation for your work as author and as a creator?
Yeah, I was getting what I like to term downloads
Mm-hmm.
to my intuition
Mm-hmm.
that really gave me the push that said, yeah, let's do this. And so it led me, my intuition led me into the right conversations. It led me into the right connections. It led me to my publisher, Brave Healer Productions, who I had worked with previously. It led me to Deb Drummond and Mission Accepted Media. It led me to Ezway TV and Ezway Promotions. So my intuition really was a foundational piece in building the book and building my business as a medium and a mentor, in building the, my show, The Intuitive Edge. So I think that it really is something that truly was the very foundation of everything that's happening in my world now.
Wow, that's so powerful. It's kind of making me emotional because it does start with a download, and that download, whether it's your intuition or connect it with your intuition. I just find once I started listening to those downloads and or listening to my intuition, I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes to myself. I'm saying yes to a higher version of myself that may not be there yet, but it's
Yep.
coming because I took the download. When I listened to the quiet whispers of what's that supposed to be. I mean, it's powerful when you listen to your intuition or you have a download or a vision and then you follow it through with intuition guiding you.
Yeah, and I love what you said, which is, you have to really listen, because intuition isn't often loud, it's quiet, it's subtle. You have to really be able to tap into it and to listen to even the smallest nudges.
Mhm.
It's when we expect it to be loud that it can be hard, because I found that often it comes through very subtle nuances, as opposed to something big and loud. So paying attention to that quiet inner voice, paying attention to that quiet intuition within is something that everyone has access to. And boy, it can be such a powerful tool.
Sure can. It's like you always hear lean in, but you have to lean in to yourself and those nudges and those whispers before you can really start leaning into the power of other people's, intuition and voices and nudges. But once you kind of leaned into yourself and you've accepted your mission, no pun intended there for mission accepted, but you've accepted your intuition, you've essentially you've accepted yourself, and I feel like you're aligned mind, body, and spirit, and you have to be before you can really lean in and listen to yourself.
Absolutely, I agree. Well said.
Thanks. So how did creating this book open the door to your show, and what was the transition like from the page to the spotlight?
So it actually started. I was in a networking group and I met a gentleman who connected me with Deb Drummond. And when I connected with Deb, there was instant synergy between the two of us.
Mm-hmm.
And Deb decided that she would write in the book, The Intuitive Entrepreneur, and I wrote in the 262 Women's book. And it was a wonderful exchange. And Deb has really helped guide me. The show is through her media company, Mission Accepted Media. And so the book really gave me an opportunity to connect with Deb, and also to continue to grow. And when she offered me the opportunity of my own show, it was a no-brainer to jump on that. And it's a big leap. It's scary to go from page to executive producer. But if we don't do the things that are hard or a little scary, we're not going to get better. As Eleanor Roosevelt once said, you have to do the things you think you cannot do. And that
Oh
is so true.
It's so true. And it is scary. And it's okay to lean into your fear,
Mm,
because those new things are scary and they're unknown, and our neural pathways, they don't know that yet. But if you're leaning into your fear from a place of love, a place of intuition, a place of this is my right next step for me to bring my love and light to the world, then it's easy. And like you said it, the synergy with Deb and many of the sisters on 262, it's like nothing I've ever experienced for. And I think it's because we're all aligned in ourselves, and we've all listened to the downloads and what needs to be done for ourselves. And I mean, we're just magical. We're magical.
absolutely. I love it.
So looking back, how has trusting your intuitive abilities shaped the path that you're on today? And what might have been different if you hadn't followed the calling?
Well, it's interesting because it started in 2017. I was introduced to some people that really helped me get started using my intuition and reading for other people. I studied healing modalities in my 30s, and I started to become more and more open, and messages started to come through faster and faster. And I knew I needed to do something with it to help other people heal. So that's really where my journey of doing readings for other people started. It was right after my dad had passed, and it's my belief that he put me in touch with the right people at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just grew from there. And it's really interesting because I never thought that I'd integrate my marketing degrees with my mediumship, with my mentoring, with my intuition, with the show, with the book. And it's really a wonderful blend of kind of those two worlds, of that very logical left brain and
Mm-hmm.
that very magical right brain. And so bringing those two things together is something that's brought me great joy and also helped me to help so many other people.
Wow. I love that. I feel the sense that you're like me. Obviously, you're very left sided and you're very right sided. And I mean, you're shaping the future of how we merge those two worlds. I'm not quite there yet, but I'm getting there. And it's a beautiful blend once you believe, okay, this is me as a whole. I have this left side of me, this analytical side, and maybe this ego side a little bit. And I have this right side, this creative side where I'm connected to my intuition or the divine, and I'm having these downloads. Both parts of that exist within ourselves. And to have the intuition to be like, I'm going to merge these, that's brilliant. And again, like if we could bring it back to even like education and helping kids. I mean, there's people in the world that are just right sided or just left sided, but a lot of us are left and right. And like, it's so segregated. But if more people did what you're doing and leading the way and being a pioneer to merge those two sides together, wow. I might have to take some lessons from you, girl. Yeah, well, this has been such a very, very powerful conversation. I've learned so much. Thank you for being on the air with the book crawl. I feel like we didn't just talk about a book, we really stepped into intuition and alignment and a deeper path of what it really means to lean from within so we can lean on the outer side. A beautiful thank you to you, Deb, for sharing your journey, your gifts, and the heart behind the intuitive entrepreneur and your new show, The Intuitive Edge. I can't wait for both of them to come out. And for everyone that's listening, this is your reminder: trust what you feel for what's calling you, and don't be afraid to step into your own voice. This is On the Edge, or On the Edge. I'm on the edge sometimes. This is On the Air with the Book Crawl, where authors rise as thought leaders, stories are felt, and remember, every story is worth saving. Have a great day, everyone.